Three Honda Civic engines, all 2 liters, all wearing the same badge on the same car. And after 200,000 miles, one of them will have cost you almost nothing in surprises. One will have saved you thousands in fuel, and one can quietly empty your wallet. Not because it was built poorly, but because performance always has a price. Welcome back to Honda Decoded. I'm Mike. 25 years in this shop, and one of the most common questions I get from Civic buyers is which engine to choose. Not which trim level, not which color, which engine. Because in the current Civic lineup, that decision matters more than most buyers realize when they're standing on the lot. Today I'm ranking all 3, the K20C2 Naturally Aspirated, the HEV Hybrid, and the K20C1 Turbo in the Type R. Ranked worst to best for long-term ownership past 200,000 miles, based on real failure points, real maintenance costs, and what actually happens when the miles stack up. The winner is not the engine most people walk into the dealership expecting. Let's get into it. 3. The performance engine, K20C1 2.0-liter turbo in the Type R. Let me be clear up front, this is not an unreliable engine. The K20C1 in the Type R is a genuinely well-built turbocharged 4-cylinder, and Honda engineers knew exactly what they were doing when they built it. But it sits at the bottom of this list because of something that has nothing to do with Honda's engineering. It's simply asked to do far more than either of the other 2 engines on this list. Compared to the naturally aspirated K20C2, this engine runs at much higher boost, much higher combustion pressure, much higher exhaust temperatures, and places a far greater demand on the cooling system. Those aren't flaws, that's what makes it feel the way it does. But those higher stresses mean more wear on more components over the same number of miles. The turbocharger itself needs attention that naturally aspirated owners never think about. The high-performance cooling system, the premium brakes, the tires, all of it costs more to maintain at the level this car requires. And then there's ownership reality. Type R buyers track their cars. They launch hard. Some add aftermarket tunes. Every one of those habits accelerates wear independently of how good the engine design is. Transmission synchro wear under aggressive use is a real pattern in high-mileage Type R ownership. Carbon buildup from direct injection becomes more relevant the harder the engine is driven over very high mileage. At 200,000 miles of performance driving, the bill is meaningfully higher, not because Honda got it wrong, but because that's the honest cost of what this engine is built to do. If you're choosing between these 3 Civic engines right now, subscribe before you decide. This is exactly what Honda Decoded is built for. 2. The buy it and forget it engine, K20C2 2.0-liter naturally aspirated. This is the engine mechanics quietly love. The K20C2 is the simplest modern Civic engine Honda builds. No turbocharger, lower cylinder pressures, lower operating temperatures, and it runs on the same proven K-series architecture that Honda has been refining for over 2 decades. Beyond 100,000 and well into 200,000 miles, real owner reports show very few engine failures. It is not exciting, and that is the entire point. The failure points I see on these at high mileage are predictable and inexpensive. Valve cover gaskets, accessory belts, engine mounts, the occasional ignition coil. None of these are surprises, none of them are catastrophic, and all of them cost a fraction of what a turbocharger service or a hybrid battery concern costs. The most common issue I see past 100,000 miles on K20C2 Civics isn't the engine at all, it's the paired CVT, specifically from owners who never change the fluid. Keep the CVT on a 30,000-mile fluid interval, and this powertrain combination is about as close to drama-free as a modern car gets. If your priority is low cost of ownership, low maintenance complexity, and an engine that never surprises you, the K20C2 is the one I'd point you toward. But it's not the one that takes the top spot on this list, and the reason why might genuinely change how you think about hybrid ownership. Most people watching this video right now expect the naturally aspirated engine to win. Subscribe and keep watching to see why it doesn't. Number 1. The clear winner. 2.0-liter HEV Hybrid. Here's where most Civic buyers don't see this coming. The assumption is that a hybrid means expensive complexity, a system you'll be paying to maintain forever, with a battery replacement bill hanging over you like a question mark. That assumption is understandable, but it's not what the data actually shows. Here's how this engine actually operates. In most city driving, the gasoline engine isn't connected to the wheels at all. It runs as a generator, charging the battery while the electric motor does the actual driving. The gasoline engine only locks directly to the wheels at consistent highway speed, where it's most efficient. What that means in practice is fewer high-load engine events, less stop-start combustion stress, and lower operating temperatures for the gasoline engine compared to the naturally aspirated car doing the exact same commute. The brakes last longer too, because regenerative braking handles most of the deceleration before the pads ever touch the rotors. I've had customers bring in hybrid CR-Vs and Civics at 90,000 miles with original brake pads still at 60%. On a conventional Civic doing the same commute, those pads would be gone twice over. Honda has stated that the lithium-ion battery in the HEV is designed for durability comparable to the vehicle's service life under normal use. Battery replacement is the expensive what-if that every hybrid buyer worries about, but widespread evidence from real-world high-mileage HEV ownership so far does not show unusually high failure rates. The battery concern that follows hybrids around largely comes from early hybrid generations from other manufacturers, not from Honda's current system. At 200,000 miles, the HEV has run its gasoline engine at lower average stress than either of the other two engines on this list, burned less fuel doing it, costs less in brake maintenance, and in most cases hasn't needed a battery replacement at all. That's not a lucky outcome. That's the system working exactly as Honda designed it. The hybrid wins because it turns out that the best way to make an engine last is to not work it as hard, and a hybrid does that automatically. Honest disclosure. These rankings reflect patterns from real owner reports, mechanic experience, and Honda's own published maintenance data, not a guaranteed outcome for every individual car. A K20C2 that's never had a CVT fluid change will fail earlier than a well-maintained Type R. A hybrid in a very cold climate with short trips and infrequent charging cycles will age differently than one doing mixed highway driving. Every powertrain on this list can reach 200,000 miles with proper care. The difference is in what proper care costs and how often it's required. 3 engines, same displacement, same badge. 3 completely different ownership experiences past 200,000 miles. The Type R is brilliant, but costs money at scale. The naturally aspirated K20C2 is the simplest, most predictable engine in the lineup, and the HEV Hybrid is the one that quietly wins on total cost, engine longevity, and real-world stress management, even though it's the last one most buyers expect to hear that about. Know which engine is actually under that hood before you sign anything. Drop your Civic's engine code and mileage in the comments. I want to see how these 3 are holding up out there in the real world. If this changed how you're looking at your next Civic purchase, subscribe now and turn on notifications. Honda Decoded puts this kind of breakdown in front of you every single week. Thanks for watching. Know your engine, and your Honda will take care of you for the long haul.